Thursday, August 4th, 2016. Well, you've been living under a rock if you didn't think that Lafayette was heading in a direction to be more bike-friendly in our area with different lanes. And it was when I lived here before that the original bike lane on Johnston happened. Okay, so that's out there. We see people using that as well. Well, a decision this week by Lafayette Consolidated Government. A
memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, I love that. I love a big word like that. Possibly paving the way, pun intended, for easier bike travel in another section of Johnston Street. Councilmember Bruce Conque joining us this morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. If you like the MOU, memorandum understanding, there's also the cooperative endearment agreement. I mean,
yes, that's true. Yeah, see, those are fun too. Right?
So I'm doing well, thank you.
Tell us about this project. We know it's between give me the name, the
Holden
and Cajundome Boulevard. That section right there.
Yeah, I think most people recognize the landmark as being the Blackham Coliseum. Right past the horse farm.
Okay, all right.
It's basically coulee to coulee, if you're familiar with the area.
Coulee to coulee. That talks to me.
From one coulee to the next coulee.
It'll get you there faster.
Yeah. So tell me about kind of what this looks like, what this project looks like, and what it means. Number one, for the people who are using it. We'll talk about the drivers and for the cars after this.
Well, I think one thing I've read in the media with the headlines, this is not about cyclists and pedestrians, and it's more about safety for everyone who uses Johnston Street. It's specifically targeted toward motorists, because Johnston Street, according to all the data we have on hand, is the most dangerous thoroughfare that exists in the state of Louisiana, based on the number of crashes. And one of the contributors to that type of data is the fact that people are, if you're on one side of Johnston Street and you want to make a left turn, you're actually crossing 2 lanes to get to the center lane to enter the other lane. And when you do that, it's called a conflict. And those conflicts in many cases result in a crash.
There are some times that I think back when we were looking at this yesterday, looking at the map, where I myself remember being in the turning lane or trying to get into the turning lane, and then at the same time, someone in the opposite direction getting in the same turn lane, and we're both trying to get to places past each other.
So, but that happens on Ambassador Caffrey, and that happens on Cully Saloon Road. And so what makes Johnston Street so special, and is that of state roads?
Actually, it's interesting. That's a federal highway.
I didn't realize
US 167 as opposed to State Highway 82.
Okay.
But that doesn't, the state is still responsible for the maintenance and of the road. And this is an unusual occurrence. We're actually getting money back from the state. We're a donor parish as far as gasoline taxes are concerned. Here we are actually getting money back for a project which I think in the long run will benefit everyone. Motorists primarily, and yes, cyclists and pedestrians.
So what does this look like? If we were to kind of close our eyes and see a 3D version of this, would it mean one side or the other moves into that center lane? Is it going to be... See, I think of Johnston, east-west. I know it's not east-west, but in my mind, it just seems like it. Are we talking about the horse farm side is where there'll be an extra lane or more lane, or is it going to be on the Nels side?
No, we're taking 5 lanes, bringing it down to 4 lanes with a raised median, controlled left turns. Think Camellia Boulevard. Raised median, restricted left turns, that's what we're looking at. This is not a first for Lafayette. Look at Louisiana Avenue near I-10. That is a raised median with controlled left turns. Johnston Street, once you get past the Acadiana Mall, is effectively a median with controlled left turn lane. So this is not a new concept for Lafayette.
So how is it going to work, though? Because, I'm thinking about my sister-in-law, and every day she goes down Johnston Street trying to get to her office, and I know it's like a headache every day. And then I'm thinking, okay, she goes down that section every day of road. It seems like with those medians in the middle, it's going to slow things down, Bruce.
Actually, it should move traffic better. Data in the past,
but should. Where's the proof in the pudding?
If you look at Camellia Boulevard, even with a 35 mile per hour speed limit, traffic moves, albeit at 50 miles per hour.
Right.
But the fact is, you're not having those conflicts. You're not watching for people coming out of the left side as you move forward. And certainly those people coming off your right side are going to be more controlled, and they will be channeled into the same lane you're traveling. So you're not looking at folks cutting across in front of you. So it should, that's a key word, it should, improve traffic flow and keep speeds moderate at where they should be, 35 to 40 miles per hour.
Okay, I think what everybody wants to know then, that word should. If we do it and then it doesn't work and it makes traffic worse, can we change it back?
No.
Man, see, that's the rub, I think, for people.
That's $20 million worth of construction.
That's why people's like, y'all don't do that. Make traffic slow.
Well, if you go anywhere, I just got back. I was doing some traveling. I went to Arizona, and I looked at Phoenix and Tucson. And they have the advantage of being relatively new communities, especially Phoenix. And you see that type of construction and that type of traffic pattern throughout the city. Go to Tucson. They're now revitalizing their entire traffic system. Same thing. It works. It's been proven. And I should not use the word should. It's been proven, and it will work. Now, a lot of this depends on driver behavior.
Yeah.
That determines everything.
I can think of, okay, let's just say you're sitting in traffic in front of the mall, but you're going to turn on Duce, okay? So headed in the direction of the mall. The people who may get in that turning lane all the way back, by that cemetery right there and ride the entire way down to turn, this would also prevent that.
Yes, and that's very dangerous. In fact, you're not supposed to enter a left turn lane any earlier than 100 feet, I think, before the actual left turn.
Before you actually
turn. So you actually will be sitting on Johnston Street at times at Duce, and traffic will just be barreling past you on your left, heading for that left turn at the light.
Yeah, I do think there was kind of a mischaracterization of it when we first heard about it yesterday was, in my opinion, I thought we were adding a whole separate lane for bikes, and that was going to compress the two. And I think that's what a lot of people thought. You were going to have to go all the way past that area to turn around. But if there are going to be controlled left turns,
okay, here's the deal.
Within there.
If you go down Johnston Street, look at your utility. Oh, by the way, utility lines will be buried.
That's part of it.
They're not getting much publicity. If you look at Johnston Street and if you look at the utility poles, those are in most cases the border, the boundary lines for the right-of-way. And you will see that those utility poles are way off the main lanes of travel. So we have a lot of right-of-way in which to work. We can do the 5 lanes, 4 lanes in a left turn lane. We can do expanded sidewalks, and we can do bike paths in many cases. So we are taking advantage of what's already there and maximizing its use. We're not really taking away anything. We're just maximizing use.
Can we compare it to another area where we have changed it and it's already worked? I mean, Camellia was a whole new street and bridge. So for people, they don't have a frame of reference, a good frame of reference for that.
No, this is the first for Lafayette.
Right. So that's what people want to know. So is there another community maybe where we can look at their hard data to know that this is going to work? Why are we going to spend money on something if we're not sure it's going to work?
I'm confident it will work based on what I've seen and actually used in other communities. You have to begin somewhere, and I know that people are resistant sometimes to change. We're reluctant to have a disruption in our pattern of life, be it driving or having breakfast at the same time every morning or whatever. We just need to adjust to today's needs for moving traffic. And we complain about traffic in Lafayette. This is one way of addressing that issue. And it will resolve it. It's going to take, by the way, about 4 or 5 years because you have to engineer it, you have to design it, you have to relocate utilities, which takes forever. The actual road construction is not that long.
I know, so we have to do all this work, Bruce, but then we don't know if it's a good payoff. I think people look at it in a couple of different ways. Number one, how's it going to affect my traffic flow? And number two, are we going to spend money on a project that we don't know if it's going to work?
Well, I think that take on things could apply to anything we do.
Sure. I know, but that's what people want. They want more responsibility in government with their tax dollars.
Well, we are.
Like, is there a good picture we could get to put on our website to kind of show people? Because, as Rob was saying, hey, look, he had one interpretation of what he thought it was going to be. Is there like a drawn out picture that we could look at for folks to get an idea?
There is no visual conception, no artist conceptual. Not at the moment.
Okay.
But if you were to take
part of the design stage.
If you were to take it like you said, I mean, makes perfect sense to me. Louisiana Avenue with the 2 lanes of traffic going either way and the controlled left turns in the middle. I think obviously the more information that gets out about this, especially with the the buried lines, kind of the differing in that area, it might just look better.
And the other issue that we're coming into, and developers in Lafayette are now realizing that we're doing things the way the rest of the country does. I'll give you an example. when Academy wanted to expand its facilities at the I-10 Louisiana Avenue intersection, they had to pay for the relocation of that left turn lane because we did not want to disrupt the flow of traffic there because of their addition. So they understood that to make it safer for their patrons to come into their facility, they were willing to pay for that improvement. So these road improvements do pay off in the long run. I don't see anyone, or I don't hear anyone, complaining about, excuse me, I'm out of breath this morning.
That's okay.
It's early morning. Yeah. Complaining about that traffic improvement. We have controlled that left turn access, and flow has not been impacted. In fact, I would think it has continued just as it was before, if not improved.
Okay, so let's back it up just a little bit. The actual construction time, that may be the biggest hindrance on traffic. Even if when it's totally complete, it works great. How long would this project take from start to finish, where you would have that shifting around?
I think a good example might be Coulee Saloon Road, which began construction actually the planning of it took place about 2 years ago. Then we had a utilities relocation, which seemingly took forever, and people were asking, when are we going to build this road?
Right.
Well, it's a staged process.
Right.
Now you see construction. Vero School Road, same thing. The folks who do this kind of work know how to program their construction to accommodate the businesses that are in place so we don't disrupt business. We don't want to do that. And allow for the continued flow of traffic.
Okay. So I've got to ask you one more question before we let you go, because people are like, why didn't you ask him this question? And like he's never going to come back. I mean, we only live 2 blocks from each other. I could be like, hey, Bruce, I'm not going to ring your door. No, but this is a great question. And that is, did the people who decided on this to consult the businesses in that area? Because I remember years ago, I don't remember how many years it was, there was so much discussion about doing a boulevard again in this area. And in fact, all along Johnston Street, if I remember the conversation with Mr. Durrell, and there was such an uproar about it because people. So the biggest question is, have you talked to the business owners? I
was involved in that effort back in 2004 through 2006, and we overextended our intent at that time because originally it was going to be a model project, a limited area that was going to be addressed and improved. Well, it expanded to include all of Johnston Street, which was a big mistake. We are back to where we were back then. This is being identified as a model project for the state. This is something that the State Department of Highways and Transportation has not done anyplace else. They are doing a complete street. They are addressing the movement of vehicle traffic, and they're taking advantage of the opportunity to provide for pedestrians and cyclists. A complete street where everything flows well and, most importantly, is done in a safer environment. Environment. I've got to get.
I know, and I'm sorry. We should have offered you some water or something.
A little bit more caffeine would help.
No water, no coffee. Well, Councilman,
by the way, talking about money real quick.
Yes.
Budget reviews start today.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, and today
it's city, police, fire, marshal, public works, and capital improvements programs.
Wow. Now, what time is the first hearing?
1:00.
It's going to be a long day.
Yes, because the I-49 work group is meeting tonight at 5:00. So.
As well, yes.
Yeah, that's an 8-hour day right there.
That's crazy. Bruce, we're going to have you back on again.
Thank you.
Folks still want to talk about it. And thank you for coming and answering all of our questions to kind of get the ball rolling.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.